As crime rates make headlines in America's major cities, one White House hopeful wants to get rid of a signature law on criminal justice reform. The First Step Act became law during the Trump administration. It revised federal prison sentencing guidelines, helping to prepare inmates to return to society and reduce recidivism. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the bipartisan measure is too soft on crime, and he wants to repeal it. CBN's Burke has more.
Republican presidential candidate Ron DeSantis refers to the First Step Act as a jailbreak bill. He claims it's allowed dangerous people out of prison who have then gone on to commit more serious crimes.
If you are in jail, you should serve your time. And the idea that they're releasing people who have not been rehabilitated early so that they can prey on people in our society is a huge, huge mistake.
Repealing this legislation would be difficult, given the wide bipartisan support that sent it to President Trump's desk back in 2018. The House approved the bill by a vote of 360 to 59, including a yes vote from then Congressman Ron DeSantis. An architect of the bill, former Republican Congressman Doug Collins, says the reversal by DeSantis is simply an effort to differentiate himself from Trump.
I think this one was more of a political move for some headlines that, frankly, should have been thought about better.
The First Step Act aims to tackle recidivism rates by addressing the needs of prisoners before release.
Looking at things like alcohol addiction, mental health issues, educational gaps, skills gaps.
Data paints the measure a success. A 2023 Federal Bureau of Prison report shows less than a 12% recidivism rate for a majority of those released under the program. That's down from a 50% rate for those released before the First Step Act became law.
The ones who need to stay there need to stay there. And if they're doing terrible things, they need to stay there completely. But just the way our system works is people do come home.
Christian Ministries also backed the legislation, viewing it as an opportunity to make an impact on criminal justice reform.
The First Step Act signaled an opportunity for ministries to really articulate a stance on punishment.
Kate Trammell, Vice President of Advocacy for Prison Fellowship, says while it's important for lawmakers to address violence, she hopes the priority is addressing what's broken with the system rather than what works.
We want elected and appointed officials to grapple with these challenges on our behalf so that we are safer and stronger as communities, but we want them to do so taking advantage of everything we've learned in the past decades about how to do that in a way that produces real results. And the First Step Act is one of those policies that is yielding good fruit.
Still, as big city leaders face criticism from residents about being less safe, a number of Republican candidates are joining DeSantis in calling for a more tough-on-crime approach. Mike Pence recently admitting it's time to rethink the First Step Act. Burke, CBN News, Washington.